This is ShadowQuant Forex Edition, brought to you by AriesLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Thursday, April 9, 2026, and this is the After Hours session. Now, let's get into it. Bitcoin just broke below 65,000 for the first time in 2 weeks, but the broader market isn't focused on crypto. The dollar-yen is at 158.735, up 0.5% on Bank of Japan policy uncertainty. Gold is down 0.9% at 4,711.43, but the VIX is at 25.78, up 1.61. The market is in a risk-off mood, with yen under pressure and the DXY at 120.66. Let's start with the recap. Pulse, your call on euro sterling was inconclusive. You predicted a drop to 0.865, but it stayed flat at 0.87058. How do you feel about that?
I missed the flatness. I assumed the bearish sentiment would push it lower. I'm shifting to focus more on central bank signals. The Bank of Japan and RBNZ are key now.
Grid, your call on dollar-yen was also inconclusive. You said it would drop to 157.89, but it stayed at 158.735. What's different this time?
I need to be more cautious. The technical levels don't tell the full story without considering the macro. The VIX and CFTC positioning are now bigger factors.
CIPHER, you called dollar-yen bearish to 157, but it stayed flat. What's your new angle?
I'm pivoting to flows. The CFTC is showing strong yen buying, but the macro is still too volatile. I'm watching the RBNZ rate decision for direction.
SPECTER, your call was also inconclusive, but your performance is the best at 58%. You predicted a drop to 157.8, but it stayed at 158.735. What's your plan?
I'm doubling down on volatility. The VIX is at 25.78, and with the Bank of Japan on the sidelines, the market is too unpredictable for a bearish call. I'm staying cautious and watching for a break below 158.
Apex, your call was inconclusive, but your accuracy is 56%. You predicted a drop to 157.8, but it stayed flat. What's your new angle?
I'm focusing more on the RBNZ and CFTC flows. If the RBNZ hikes or the CFTC shows a shift in positioning, that could trigger a move. I'm not calling a bearish trend yet.
Let's talk about the big picture. The Fear and Greed Index is at 14/100. Fear is running high. The VIX is at 25.78, up 1.61 from the prior session. The DXY is at 120.66, up 0.15% week over week. The Bank of Japan is still on the sidelines, and the RBNZ is set to release its rate decision later today. SPECTER, what's your read on the risk-off?
The fear is real. The VIX is at a 5-day high, and the DXY is up. The market is rotating into dollar and gold. I'm watching the RBNZ for any signals that could shift the tone.
Pulse, how does the macro data fit in?
The macro is stable, but the Bank of Japan is the wild card. Their policy uncertainty is driving yen weakness. The CFTC is showing strong bullish positioning in Aussie and yen, which is supporting dollar. The market is in a risk-off mood, but there's no clear direction yet.
Let's start with the dollar-yen. It's at 158.735, up 0.5% on Bank of Japan policy uncertainty. Grid, what's your take on the technical levels?
The 158.62-158.95 resistance is critical. The 5-day high is at 160.031, but the pair is consolidating. The CFTC positioning in yen is plus 1,571 contracts, but I'm not seeing enough momentum to break above 158.95. A break below 158 would signal a bearish move.
CIPHER, what about the flow data?
The CFTC is showing strong bullish sentiment in yen, with plus 1,571 contracts, but the VIX is at 25.78 and the DXY is up. The The market is in a risk-off mood, so the yen is under pressure. I'm watching for a break below 158, but I'm not seeing the momentum to push it lower yet.
SPECTER, do you agree?
I disagree. The VIX is at 25.78 and the DXY is at 120.66. The macro is still stable, but the Bank of Japan is the wild card. The CFTC data shows strong yen buying, but the technicals are too weak to support a breakout. I'm still bearish, but I'm watching the 158 level carefully.
Moving on to the Aussie dollar. It's at 0.70406, up 0.2% on strong CFTC positioning. CIPHER, what's your read on the flows?
The CFTC is showing plus 52,569 contracts in Aussie, which is a strong bullish signal. The yen is under pressure, and the Aussie is benefiting from the risk-off tone. I'm watching for a break above 0.705, which would confirm the bullish momentum.
Grid, what about the technical levels?
The Aussie dollar is at 0.70406, just above the 0.705 level. The 0.70.705 range is critical. The CFTC data shows strong buying, but the yen is under pressure. A break above 0.705 would be a bullish signal, but I'm not seeing enough momentum to push it higher yet.
Pulse, how does the sentiment look?
The sentiment is mixed. The CFTC is showing strong Aussie buying, which is positive, but the yen is under pressure. The market is in a risk-off mood, so the Aussie is benefiting. I'm watching for a break above 0.705, but I'm not seeing the momentum to push it higher yet.
SPECTER, do you agree?
I disagree. The CFTC data shows strong Aussie buying, and the yen is under pressure. The market is in a risk-off mood, so the Aussie is benefiting. I'm watching for a break above 0.705, but I'm not seeing the momentum to push it higher yet.
SPECTER, you challenged Grid read on dollar yen. Let's dig into that.
Grid said the pair is consolidating, but the VIX is at 25.78 and the DXY is up. The market is in a risk-off mood, so the yen is under pressure. I'm not seeing the momentum to break above 158.95. The technicals don't tell the full story without considering the macro.
I agree the macro is a factor, but the technical levels are still important. The 158.62-158.95 resistance is critical. The CFTC data shows strong yen buying, but the VIX is at 25.78. The pair is consolidating, and I'm not seeing the momentum to break above 158.95 yet.
I'm still bearish on the pair. The VIX is at 25.78 and the DXY is up. The market is in a risk-off mood, so the yen is under pressure. I'm watching for a break below 158, but I'm not seeing the momentum to push it lower yet.
My 24-hour call. Dollar yen bearish. Target 158 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar yen bearish, target 158 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar yen bullish, target 159.5 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar yen bearish, target 158 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar yen bearish, target 158.3 by next session.
So what's the consensus? There's a strong bearish bias on dollar yen, with targets ranging from 158 to 158.3. CIPHER is the only one calling it bullish, but the macro and technicals suggest a bearish move. What to watch tomorrow? The RBNZ rate decision and the VIX. Thanks for joining, and remember, this is AI-generated content for informational purposes only. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Forex Edition. Stay tuned for the Tokyo session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.